What kind of coach was Fish? He was a very even keel type guy.
Yeah, he was. And for him, you got to remember, like he was an assistant coach for a lot of years.
Mm,
He and Coach Frieda were together for a long time, and Fish was that. And it's kind of like when he took over, it's kind of like a substitute teacher, right? You get a sub in there, you're like, okay, yeah, you kind of relax a little bit and you can kind of have fun with it. But
sure.
again, like I mentioned earlier, Fish was our guy, right? So not only did we want to win for each other, we wanted to win for Coach Fisher. But no, he was always prepared. He had us on point. Because he did the game preps anyway, for us throughout the year. So he was always in control of that, what the other team was going to do, what plays he thought would work, what would it take to win the game. And he put his keys to victory on the board. And so that was it. So as far as the coaching part, man, Coach Fisher, he was on point. He was a guy that was, prepared, had us going. And for him, it was just the game management, which, obviously first time coaching, but he went 6-0, man, to start.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, very impressive. I want to get into some more details of the game, but before that, again, I want to get your perspective on that whole atmosphere. And were you able to just be like, all right, this is another game, the whistle's blown, ball's tossed up. Were you able to get focused in, or like first time you hit the floor, first couple minutes, you're like, what the hell is going on?
No, it's it. It's the game. It's the national championship. So no, there's a little more butterflies, obviously.
Sure.
There's a little more angst. There's a little more, like, whoa, like this is it. Simply because of two reasons. One, it is the game, and you know it, and you've seen it, growing up since you're a kid, what the game looks like, right? Like, oh man, this is it. You hear the music, you hear, Clark Kellogg, you're like, oh, like this is it, right? So the thing of it for us is the building was so huge, but this is the game. And so, yeah, there was a little angst, there was a little more nervousness, but once that ball went up, you got on the floor, you went up and down a time or two,
sure,
you settle in. And
yeah.
We have such belief in our guys and such, like I said, the talent, the fact that we had grown together so much over that short 3-week span really kind of helped propel us to play this game and get off to a really, really big lead in the game. And things were going our way pretty well.
And then, so take me through that, because in the second half, you guys went a mini drought, little drought. It was like, I think, 11-minute period there, whereas, I don't know, maybe Seton Hall made a run or something. You guys weren't hitting shots, and then it gets down tight. But you, I guess, just kept that belief and just stay with the process. I mean, Glen hit a couple big shots, I think. I can't remember. I watched the end of it, but that I'm just watching it. It was nerve-wracking for me watching it on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, I already know what happened, but I can just feel like how tight and how clenched I think people can get in that moment. But you guys still play like pretty confident.
Oh yeah, and just play well. And I tell you what, it was funny because we really were playing well, had a nice little lead, things were going, and then they had a couple guys that kind of started making a few shots, and Johnny Morton was one in particular that got going. And I just remember this one play, and people you remember different things, right? So my guy was setting a down screen for Johnny Morton, and it was getting ready to come up, and Glen said, hey, we're going to switch on this, right? And so I said, all right. So my guy sets a screen, boom, I switch out. I was just a tad late, but I contested, and he hits the shot. And he was so pissed at me after that. Come on, I said switch. Oh, like running down the court. He was so pissed. And I was like, I was there, but yeah. I hit a good shot. And so, just things like that kind of come up, just little points in the game. But give those guys credit, because they did the same thing like the Duke. They made a nice little comeback and were down, and they came back and made it a game for us. And for us, we were able to, like I said, to continue to work and to finally get that victory, which was, our main goals.
Yeah, I had one other guy. His name is Zach Novak, and he was in my class, and we went all 4 years together. We were captains twice together, and so now I'm picturing kind of a similar situation with you and Glen. Like, it's just a very bonding relationship when you go through all those experiences. Like, he can yell at you, and you can be fine with it. You're like, I understand, and it's tense. Like, did you have a special relationship with Glen just because of all the experiences you went through, and then finally reaching your goal that you wanted to?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we had many, many conversations about it. Like, people talk about this, but I distinctly remember, summertime, we talk about it. During the season, we go together, get to his house, us, me, Glen, a few of the other players, like, just talk about what it would be like. Like, hey, guys, our goal is win a championship. Like, win a championship, win a championship. So we would talk about that quite a bit. And I'm sure, people say that, but this happened with us, right?
Yeah.
And so get to the hotel, same thing. Goal's still the goal. We had a phrase, we said, let's shock the world. And that was it. And so we kept, that was something that was a theme that we had throughout the year. And we talk about it, be about it. But, going with a guy 4 years, getting a degree, 4 years at Michigan, playing every time, that's so many experiences you go through. And as you know, Ann Arbor is such a special place to be able to do that. And, going through that with a group like that has been, people ask me all the time, like, having played, played professionally for 9 years and coached, and for 5 years and, now doing the scouting stuff, like, what's your best sports memory? Seriously, to this day, my best sports memory is winning a national championship because it was about the team coming together through different adversities, right? Through, changing coaches and, going through droughts and games and, all the stuff we went through. But it was that group of guys coming together and just galvanizing and continuing to have that focus on the goal. And we got closer and closer and closer as through that 3-week span there. So that for me, obviously, is it.
Yeah, no, it's very special. That makes sense to me. I'd have the same answer if I was you. I usually save this question for the end, but since we're already talking about it, take me through that locker room experience after. Like the buzzer goes off, you guys funnel off the court, you get in the locker room, and it's got to be like an experience like none other.
Yeah, it is. It's like literally pure joy. So, Ramil makes the free throws, they get it out, they throw the last second shot up, bang off the glass, Glen gets the rebound, we all run on the court. And it's funny, I have a picture of me and Terry kind of embracing, and Mike Griffin, I think, is there. JP Usman's behind me, and we got the number 1 up in the air. And the look on our faces was just pure joy. And it's funny, my wife actually just got that picture, framed it for me, and gave it to me for Christmas. And I had forgotten about it, but and it's just pure joy. And that's it. Like when they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, that picture is it. And just to be able to win it, I mean, there's really, really no words to describe that. It was just, we're so happy and relieved. Like, it's funny. After that, it's like, all right, who's next? Like, who's next? We're going to like, we're ready to keep playing. Like, all right, who else? Like, we felt we could beat anybody at that point.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I can't imagine being able to go to class after winning a championship. I feel like I would maybe just walk around campus. We're even able to finish classes.
Yeah, that was one of the things that, it's Michigan, man. So yeah, you absolutely got to go to school. So yeah, just coming home like that night, staying there in Seattle, like, oh my goodness, had, parents in town and just collecting with your people was awesome. And then coming back to Ann Arbor was the funnest part, right? We land, we get on a bus. There's, the news people, casters are following us. We were listening to it on the radio. Oh, here they are. They coming. They're on 94. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They followed us the whole way. And then we pulled up and people were there. And it was, just a wonderful experience to be able to bring a national championship back to Ann Arbor.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I want to talk about, you have experience playing overseas, and I believe in France and Italy, if I have that correct. There can be some wild stories that guys have, even in a short amount of time. Do you have a certain story or two that sticks out to you from your experience?
Well, yeah, you're right. It's been some crazy stuff there for sure. I spent some time in Italy and France and a few different cities, but I just will say my favorite was Venice. I spent 2 years in Venice, Italy, which was outstanding. Then quick story. So I was over there playing, and Coach Fischer took the Fab Five on a trip to Europe to come, to do a European tour.
Yeah.
Well, the guys, obviously, you go through a long season like that. You're like, you definitely, that's the last thing you want to do is, get on a plane and go, but he brought them over. And it was so funny because they came to see me play a game, which was amazing, you know? So I look up, I see Coach Fischer, a couple of guys in the stands. It's like, wow. So that was pretty neat to be able to connect with those guys when I was over in Venice playing. So, but yeah, there are a lot of things that go on with, playing in Europe. Obviously, had a couple of times I played for a team and they wouldn't pay, they were late with the payment. So it's like, okay, we're boycotting the game. And, sure enough, it was 10 minutes before game time and they run in like, no, see, here it is. Here's the note. We sent it. Here's the, so it's like, all right, we'll play. So You certainly don't have that in the NBA.
No, certainly not. And I've heard of guys not getting paid, but I've never heard of 10 minutes before a game running in the locker room like, here's your money.
Oh yeah.
That's a
Yep,
different
yep.
experience.
Yes, indeed. Because they want, it was a big game and they definitely want us to play. And we're like, listen, if we don't get paid, we're not playing.
Yeah.
Me and American and a couple other top guys on the squad. And sure enough, they came in with the paperwork and see, I delivered it in your account. It's in your account. You made the deposit. I'm like, all right, man, we'll play then.
That's funny. And you came back. Did you come back from overseas and then started playing for the Grand Rapids Hoops? Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep. Ended up having a little bit of a knee issue. Came back, and I did. I spent a little time at the Grand Rapids Hoops, which was fun. Just great experience playing in minor league basketball here in the States. That part for me was like enjoyable. So I was able to get completely healthy.
Yeah.
And then played with a coach by the name of Brendan Sir, who was actually my assistant coach when I was in my rookie year with the Pistons. And so he was the head coach, and I went there and played for him. And it was just a great experience just to be able to get out there and play close to my hometown. I'm from Muskegon originally, so I'm in West Michigan playing. And so my parents were able to come see a lot of games, brothers and sisters. So for me, that was nice. After playing overseas for a few years, it was good to be able to play home.